So here it is the second part of the molecular spectroscopy 2, in which we will be discussing about the interaction between the spin and the magnetic field and also the Larmor precession. We will be deriving the expression for the frequency of a bare proton as well as the Larmor frequency. So let us discuss about the interaction between the spin and the magnetic field, and we'll determine the frequency of the bare proton and also the Larmor frequency. And we know that the spin of the nucleus is generally represented by the symbol I, which is given in italics, and it is also called as a spin quantum number. So the quantum mechanics shows that the angular momentum associated with the nuclear spin of a nucleus is given by the expression angular momentum I is equal to square root of I into I plus 1 into h divided by 2 pi. So to differentiate the nuclear spin from the angular momentum I have given the nuclear spin in italics. I is given in italics. Since the nucleus possesses an electric charge, the spinning nucleus gives rise to a magnetic field whose axis coincides with the axis of the spin. So each nucleus acts as a minute magnet having a magnetic moment mu. So we know that the selection rule, nuclei with I is greater than 0 has a magnetic moment, and nuclei with I is equal to 0 do not possess the magnetic moment and they are said to be non-magnetic. So when a magnetic nucleus is placed in a uniform magnetic field, the magnetic dipole associated with the magnetic moment assumes only a discrete set of orientations. That is, the nuclear spin and magnetic moment associated with it is quantized with respect to the direction of the applied magnetic field. So the magnetic nucleus has any one of the two I plus 1 orientations with respect to the directions of the applied magnetic field. So there are two I plus 1 values of Mi. For example, for a proton, the I nuclear spin value I is calculated to be half, hence the spin states Mi is calculated to be 2, and they are plus or minus 1 by 2. And for the nitrogen, the nuclear spin is found to be 1, and for which the spin states are calculated as 3 using the formula 2I plus 1, and the spin states are 1, 0 and minus 1. Similarly for boron, we have 4 energy levels, and we have seen earlier. So in general, a charged particle spinning about an axis constitutes a circular electric current, which in turn produces a magnetic dipole. So in other words, the spinning particle behaves as a tiny bar magnet placed along the spin axis. So a nucleus with a spin has associated with it a magnetic moment mu, then that is proportional to the angular momentum I vector. So it is given by the relation mu vector, which is the magnetic moment associated with the spinning nucleus, is directly proportional to the angular momentum of that particular nucleus. So mu vector is equal to q divided by 2m I vector, where q and m are said to be the charge and mass of the particle. Now when we substitute the expression for the angular momentum, then we will get the expression mu vector is equal to qh divided by 4 pi m square root of I into I plus 1 joules per Tesla. That leads to the equation 2. Now when we remove the fiction that the electrons and nuclei are point charges according to the quantum theory, then the equation 2 gets modified by an inclusion of a numerical factor called g. So a g factor is included in the above expression, that is second expression. Then we will be getting mu vector is equal to capital G QH divided by 4 pi m square root of I into I plus 1 joule per Tesla. So for electrons, the G is given by the symbol small letter g, Landau splitting factor, and the value of that is obtained from L, S and J quantum numbers. And for electron we know that G is equal to 2. The nuclear G factor is observed or obtained experimentally. And for electrons, that equation 3 can be written as mu is equal to minus G beta root of I into I plus 1 joules per Tesla. And the beta is said to be the Bohr magneton, and which is equivalent to QH divided by 4 pi m, and the value of beta is found to be 9.278 10 power minus 24 joule per Tesla by substituting the values for the charge and mass of an electron. Similarly, in case of the nucleus, the nuclear dipoles can be expressed in terms of a nuclear magneton beta n, and it is defined in terms of the mass and charge of the proton. Therefore, the nuclear magneton beta n is equal to EH divided by 4 pi mp. So the E stands for the charge of the proton and mp stands for the mass of the proton. H is the Planck's constant, and by substituting all these constants, we will be getting the value for beta n as 5.050 10 power minus 27 joule per Tesla. Thus, for a nucleus of mass m and the charge Pe, where P represents the number of the protons, then the magnetic moment mu will be equivalent to GPe divided by 2 capital M square root of I into I plus 1 H by 2 pi. Then combining all these factors, and in order to get the beta n values, let us multiply and divide by mp, and we combine EH divided by 4 pi mp, we substitute as beta n, then the relation will be GMP P divided by capital M beta n square root of I into I plus 1. Then when we consider Gn is equal to GMP P divided by capital M, then MP is the protonic mass and Gn will be the characteristics of the each nucleus, and it is said to be the nuclear G factor. So finally we will be getting the magnetic moment vector for the nucleus will be equivalent to Gn beta n and I, the angular momentum vector, which will be having the spin along the z direction. And by substituting the value for the angular momentum, again the magnetic moment vector mu bar is equal to Gn beta n square root of I into I plus 1 joule per Tesla. So the G factor for the nucleus will be positive or negative values provided the magnetic moment mu vector and the angular momentum I can be parallel or antiparallel vectors. Now the interaction of the nuclear magnetic moment with the electromagnetic radiation, which will lead to the NMR spectrum. We will find out the frequency of the Baer proton. So from the quantum mechanics, it is known that the energy of the interaction of a nuclear magnetic moment mu with an external magnetic field B applied in the z direction is given by E is equal to minus mu z and then B z. These are the vector quantities. And substituting the values of mu z from equation 4, we get the energy value will be equivalent to minus Gn beta n dz into square root of I into I plus 1. Now I is the nuclear spin and which is quantized in the presence of the magnetic field, and the energy of this nuclear spin is defined only by its component Mi. So nuclear spin has 2I plus 1 orientations, the discrete values, which means the alignment is limited to Mi is equal to 2I plus 1 positions. So that is Mi energy states are possible. Then EMI, the energy expressed for the energy states, which is represented as EMI is equal to minus Gn beta n dz Mi. Now let us consider for a Baer proton, which is very easy to work it out, as the spin quantum number I is equal to half and only one proton is present, so that Mi will be plus or minus 1 by 2. We have two energy states, two spin states. So thus for Mi is equal to plus half, the energy for that particular state E half is equal to minus 1 by 2 Gn beta and Bz. Then for Mi is equal to minus 1 by 2, the higher energy state will be getting the energy for that minus 1 by 2 level is equal to 1 by 2 Gn beta and Bz. The energy difference then when we calculate delta E is equal to upper energy level minus lower energy level, we will be getting delta E is equal to Gn beta and Bz. So this is given in this diagram, the splitting of the nuclear energy levels of a bare proton in a magnetic field, and when the magnetic field is kept constant and the frequency is actually varied. So here the transition takes place from the lower energy state to the higher energy state. That is E minus 1 by 2, E 1 by 2 to E minus 1 by 2. So the nuclear spin actually flips from the upward direction to the downward direction, that is alpha to beta spin, for which the radio frequency field is perpendicular to the direction of the Bz. So this transition will lead to a signal, and that is observed in the NMR spectrum. So the transition depends upon the energy difference and absorption of the frequency of the radiation, and also the position of the signal, as we discussed earlier, will be depending upon the electronic environment about the proton, around the proton. So the nuclear spin flips provided the energy h nu of the radio frequency photon or frequency nu is exactly equal to delta E. So we can equate delta E is equal to Gn beta n Bz should be equivalent to the h nu. The frequency of the bare proton then can be found, nu is equal to delta E by h. By rearranging, we get Gn beta n Bz divided by h. Then we will discuss about the Larmor precision, that is the precision of the particles in a field, in an applied magnetic field. So a nucleus with a magnetic moment can be treated as though it were a bar magnet which spin on its axis. In the presence of an external magnetic field, the magnetic axis of the proton will precess, means moves in a circular path about the axis of the external magnetic field, in the same manner in which a spinning gyroscope precesses under the influence of the gravity. So the spinning nucleus, similar to a gyroscope, precesses with the precessional frequency. So the precessional frequency or Larmor frequency is given by omega is equal to the magnetic moment divided by the angular momentum and the applied magnetic field strength Bz. So when we substitute the known factors of magnetic moment, angular moment, then we will get an expression. Mu vector is representing the magnetic moment divided by the angular momentum 2 pi I vector into the applied magnetic field strength Bz in hertz we will be getting. So this diagram shows that the nuclear spin which will possess the magnetic moment when it is under the influence of the applied magnetic field, it will have two orientations. One, it will be aligning with the applied magnetic field, that is the Mi will be having plus 1 by 2, and the alignment against the applied magnetic field Bz, that is the applied magnetic field strength. Then we have the downward spin, we know that it's the beta spin. Then Mi will be equivalent to minus 1 by 2. So energy for the alpha spin to align into an alpha spin will be given away, it will be lost, hence it attains a stable state. But when it attains a beta spin, it gains an energy and it will become unstable and it occupies the higher energy state. So the magnetic moment of a spinning nucleus, mu vector is equal to Gn beta n square root of I into I plus 1 joule per Tesla, and the angular momentum of a nucleus I vector is equal to square root of I into I plus 1 into h by 2 pi. When we substitute both these terms in the Larmor frequency expression, then we get Gn beta n square root of I into I plus 1 divided by square root of I into I plus 1 into h by 2 pi dot bz divided by 2 pi. Then cancelling the terms in the numerator and the denominator, the final expression omega is equal to Gn beta n bz divided by h in terms of hertz will be obtained. So the Larmor precessional frequency, in short, also can be written in terms of the gyromagnetic ratio. So omega is equal to gamma into bz hertz. So where gamma is the gyromagnetic ratio of the particular nucleus. So the value depends upon a particular nuclei, so which is given by the expression mu n divided by I into h divided by pi. So here comes the Larmor position of a nucleus and the resulting magnetic dipole mu bar oriented in an applied field Bz. So you could see that the nucleus which has a Larmor position, the circular motion which is precessing in an orbit, and it has two spins. One it is the upward spin, the other one it will be the downward spin. So when it has the upward spin, and the mi will be plus half, and when it has the downward spin, mi will be of minus half. As we know, I is equal to 1 by 2. So we have two energy spin states. Those two energy spin states are plus or minus 1 by 2. So in the left side we represent two spin orientations which is allowed to a nucleus having a nuclear spin I is equal to 1 by 2. And in the right side we get the energy states, and in the absence of the applied magnetic field they are degenerate, and in the presence of the applied magnetic field the two energy levels which are splitted into alpha spin as well as the beta spin, that is the upward spin plus half, then the downward spin minus half. So a nucleus in presence of an external magnetic field, the interaction of the magnetic moment with the applied magnetic field strength produces a torque, and this torque causes the magnetic moment to precess about the applied magnetic strength, as is called the Larmor precession, and the angular frequency is the Larmor precessional frequency omega, and it is expressed in radians per second. So these are the references, and few exercise problems have been shared here. You can work it out using the concepts and expressions that we discussed in the previous slides. And for your reference, the nuclear magneton in our derivations we have represented in beta n, but it also can be represented as mu n. So I have given both the mu n and beta n for the nuclear magneton. So use this expression, use these values in the expression to find the answers. All the very best. Thank you.